Well, here we are, another Ask Paul segment. I'm sitting here in Tastecraft Coffee Shop here in Milton. And what a nice place. So the first question I got is a good one. How do I remove moss growing along the borders of my flower beds? Thanks for your input. Well, moss grows in certain conditions. And if you've got a shallow soil, if you've got poor fertility in the soil, if the soil is very acid, or it's in heavy shade, or there's a lot of moisture, all of those add to ideal growing conditions for moss. If you start removing those conditions, giving more shade, reducing the moisture, breaking up the soil. I remember back in England, we used to use a fertilizer called green sand, which was kind of heavy on iron. And I know that iron, if you sprinkle it on top of moss, will start killing it. The other thing to think about, though, is to go, out of a box and think moss is actually quite attractive. It's green, it's healthy, it's growing in those conditions. Is it really spoiling it? Some cases, yes. If it starts becoming part of your lawn, then it doesn't grip very well. And if people walk on it, it can break apart and cause some problems. So there are places for moss, and there are places where you don't want it. So I would improve any of those conditions. So improve the soil fertility. Don't make it quite so acid. Get rid of some of the shade, and don't water too much. And then hopefully your moss problem will go away. The question comes from Nancy Beres Solomon. And hi, Nancy. Thanks very much for this question. It's actually a very good one. It's kind of an interesting one. She says, Paul, when is the best time to transplant some of my poppies into another area of my yard? They are so beautiful, but they're so crowded, and you can't really enjoy them when they're all crowded like that. Well, I'm taking it that this refers to oriental poppies. Now, they're typically those big orange ones that come right up, the orange cups there, but they do come in a whole range of colors. Pink is very popular. There's a salmon. There's even a plum one. It sounds like you've been very successful with them. Some people have a little bit of a problem because some of the tunneling animals can eat the roots. Now, the roots are the key to these poppies. Now, in spring, they come up fairly early. You see the little shoots coming up. They've got these hairy leaves. They're very distinct, the poppy leaf. That's a time that I would get out with a good garden fork and go down really deep. What you don't want to do is use a sharp shovel and be a bit shallow and break them up. The more of that root you can get out, I would dig a section out in the middle to give them room, the other ones to grow back into the middle again. Pull them up. It doesn't matter if you expose the roots, but don't leave them to dry out too long. Find out a nice place where you want them, plenty of sunshine. And you just got to remember, plant them deep again, the same depth that they came out of the ground. So you could be a foot deep at least in some places. They tend to go into dormancy midsummer. So you may get them shoot up and flower a little bit, then fade down. You haven't killed them. They will go dormant. Everything goes back into the roots, and you'll see a little shoot coming up. So next year you should see the full flower again.
We'll see you next time on Home and Backyard.